Hello, everyone. We are live. Two streams in 2 days. It's unheard of. We have Clayton, How to Draw Comics, joining us. How are you,
What's up,
Clayton?
everyone?
Very begrudgingly today. I've infringed upon his work time, which he is very upset about.
Well, man, I come on here because I love you. What can I say?
Right.
How can I resist? You're a big distraction, though. I will tell you that. A big distraction.
I'm terrible. I'm the worst. All right, let's have a look at chat. We have Eyebrow Ideas, not first. Badger first. Was a great sage. Eddie Winkler. Hello, everyone. Hello. We actually had quite a lot of viewers yesterday. We were like 20 viewers yesterday.
That's a lot of viewers, man. You should stream more often.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was really good. Who are you talking to, Johnny? That could easily be for either of us. I'm assuming Clayton, but
mate, if I'm going to grow hair, I'm not going to comb it. Come on, man.
Black Rose Comics. You kind of have the look going on that like you went to a hairdresser and they've put some product in and then like they've given it a blow with a hairdryer.
Oh man, considering I wake up like this, that's a very high compliment. Thank you.
We got Billy Baxo in here as well. Yeah, so Black Rose Comics, I said hello. Very good. Eyebrow Idea says, nice toupee, Clayton.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's get to it. So a couple of years ago, I was on Facebook and I came across this artist, and I remember at the time going, this dude is the best artist I've ever seen. And I thought today, let's go back and see if Rob was actually right. Is he the best artist that, I've ever seen? Or was I, was that 3 years ago, Rob, who didn't know what he was doing kind of thing? And that's why we have Clayton here, because he is the art connoisseur, the person that can break it down for us and tell us if things if are actually incredible or if they just look pretty. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this guy is called Andy Braze. Now, Clayton hasn't heard of him before. I've never heard of him. I don't know if anyone in the chat has heard of him. But let's have a look at some of his art. Let me zoom that in a bit. What do you think, Clayton?
Yeah, he's got a real David Nolan vibe to his work. I think that's his name, the artist I'm thinking of. Yeah, he's amazing. He's really great stuff. Solid style.
The way, not being an art expert, but the way he has these lighter lines here and then like the darker, thicker lines here really creates that sense of depth.
Yeah.
Would I be correct in saying that?
He has a great ability to establish tone. So you'll notice around the bottom of Predator there,
yeah,
as the light springs up from below onto the figure, we've still got shadow. It's just that they're not as dark as the darkest shadows at the top of the figure. So it does create a lot of depth. But I think that if you look at an artist like David Finch, for example, all the tones, there's basically 3 tones that David is able to create: black, mid-tone, and white. Whereas this has white, 2 different versions, 3 different versions of mid-tone, and then pure black. So I think it's cool. And I love the way also that he makes additional shapes with his mid-tones.
I think is incredible. Like the way he does the light on the knuckles. I don't know.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, Hellboy.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's like getting into Bernie Wrightson territory with that background.
Yeah, like all the detail. I don't know if it really comes up on this, but like on these rocks here, the
Mm.
detail is incredible. Like, and this is pencil work, obviously.
Mm. Man, you would hope that a great inker could be found to actually render this
Well, he does his own inks too.
in a
Like, look at it.
justified way. He does his own inking. Nice.
Yeah, like look at this, man. Just crazy. Doctor Strange, I think.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. Yeah, that's stunning.
Amazing
Not
work.
only the rendering, also the way in which he'll convey expression on a character's face and in their hands. It makes you wonder if he makes heavy use of reference in order to capture those things. I'm sure he does, which nothing wrong with that at all. We all should as artists. But yeah, he's one of those incredible talents that really know how to convey real life on the page. He's a very realistic artist. You can
Mm.
see that there's not a lot of stylization there. Maybe in the way it's rendered and the comic book format that it's displayed in, but that's about it. All the figures that are rendered as such are very, very photorealistic.
Billy Baxter says, Roberts, always remember to take into account when judging art illustrations is the deadline and the time constraint the person had to put into said piece. I could imagine that this kind of work would take forever. The amount of detail, like, just what are you thinking, Clayton? Days, weeks?
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of sequential work, so I'm guessing he's mostly a pin-up artist or a cover artist. I mean, he's an illustrator, dude.
Mm.
He's not just a comic book artist. He's a true artist. You know, there's a difference between I would say comic book art and fine art. This is both.
I mean, like, let's just play a little game for a second. If you had to guess, how much do you reckon a cover of his would cost?
Man, I don't know, but I would just pay whatever he wanted. Yeah.
I reckon it's got to be at least $1,000, at least.
Yeah. Especially if he's well established.
Amanda B, is this more from the guys from yesterday? No, this is. I found this guy about 3 years ago on Facebook just randomly, and I thought at the time he was the best artist I've ever seen, and I thought we'd go back and see if he actually is the best artist I've ever seen, still to this day, or if I was just wrong 3 years ago. And dude, yeah, I think he's incredible. Badger reckon 3,000 to 6,000 for a cover. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm kind of hopeful that it's a lot less.
Yeah, that's a pencil drawing, actually. That's awesome.
Would you hire him for Kozor, like a Kozor cover?
Yeah, I think that could work.
I love how.
Yeah, see, it's when you're hiring an artist, I think that it pays to, regardless of their talent, determine whether or not they're going to be a good fit for a project and the already established style featured within it. So would I hire him for Replicator? Probably not. Maybe for Kozor, just because of the intense detail that we see in his stuff. But even then, I'm a little. I would have to really weigh it up.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, but then, like, it also, in my mind, like, I love art, man. So if I could get him to do a Replicator piece, like a cover or something, even if it doesn't fit stylistically, I wouldn't care because I think it would look just incredible.
Maybe a pin-up. I don't know about a cover because think about the audience as well. How are they going to feel when they get the cover of this book and then they open it up and see, like the art of William Walreyes, who is an amazing artist, but is very different stylistically. It's a very jarring transition. So, and again, I'm just personally thinking about how I would react as a reader. Might not be the same for everybody.
Eric Canetti asks a question: is there business sense to hire a guy at $2K for the cover if it's not going to bring in $2K of sales? Is that a legitimate question, Clayton?
How do you determine that? I guess you would determine it based upon the amount of backers who go for a particular tier. In my opinion, man, hell yeah. Because it's not just... If you think about a book like Graveyard Shift, for example, John Malin was on yesterday or the day before, and we all know that he's done multiple campaigns for Graveyard Shift, all the Graveyard Shift titles. Ethan Van Sciver has done multiple campaigns for a single book as well. And so are you basing the amount of money that you're earning from that project on a single campaign, or the multiple campaigns that you could run of it? And you could run an infinite amount of campaigns for a book. And so I think the value is there, especially if it's a book that you've really dumped a lot of money into, gotten a super quality team of people together to produce something that's spectacular. I think that that's going to keep on earning you money for a very long time. I mean, look at Witchblade, for example. Mark Silvestri just launched another Kickstarter for it, for volume 2 now of the hardcover. And that is not the first time. That thing has been reprinted about 1 billion times, and it's amazing. Michael Turner's work lives on forever and keeps on earning money on that title.
I might actually even pick that up, because I think Witchblade is one of the coolest design characters in comics. I don't know why, but it really does it for me.
That's brilliant.
The point, I think, Eric, is that you could spend, let's just use made-up numbers. So you could spend $10,000 on a comic, and it could be of good quality, and it's a less of a money outlay initially, but it's going to be harder to sell that comic for the rest of your life. If you spend double that, $20,000, for example, and you get a much higher quality book, it's going to be easier to sell that for the rest of your life. And also, like, I kind of just want to have sick art, man. If I can get someone like this and it doesn't bring in sales, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bancroft?
Yeah, I saw you tweet this. What are we looking at here?
It's just this artist. I found him on Facebook like 3 years ago, and I thought at the time he's the best artist I've ever seen. And I thought we'd go back today and just have a look and see, was I right? Was he actually really that good when I saw him 3 years ago, or was I just didn't know what I was talking about?
And what's he been doing in those 3 years?
I think he's just as good as he was like when I saw him. I think he's incredible.
Is he a pro? Is he working in mainstream? What's he doing?
I think he does covers. He's done stuff for Marvel, I've seen. But like, look at this stuff, man. Yes.
Hello, Clayton. Hello, haired Clayton. We can see your hair today.
Yeah, I know. Look, I wasn't even going to go on camera, but Rob dragged me on here, so I thought, all right, I don't look bad.
It's rad. He's obviously very good, and he can capture the lighting in the line art like that is pretty special.
Oh, one thing I wanted to point out back on this one is I love how artists can just have like this complete black
Mhm.
and then like fade it out. Ethan does it so well as well. I think it's such an amazing talent to be able to do that.
It is. Clayton, you'd know that. Being able to do that without it just looking like someone spilt ink on the page is a talent. Because a lot of people try it and it looks like, why is the person's face painted in black? It actually just looks like they have black ink on their face or their hands or whatever. So actually pulling it off is a real talent.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, this guy knows how to capture tone with his hatching. And that takes a lot of practice and a really careful eye. I mean, how do you get to the point where you've got enough experience where you know you can just predict that the lines that you're laying down and the distance between them, their thickness, is going to create a certain tone? It's insane.
Eric says, are there almost guaranteed cover artists is there a reason why you've put a Trevor Sherray or a J. Scott Campbell, because the names move units? Yeah, I mean, certain artists are going to move units regardless, but you can hire an artist, like a popular one, and if he doesn't promote the fact that they've done art, it's not going to move as many units as someone that actually promotes it.
Yeah, that's something that Eric might not realize yet about crowdfunding, that the big names don't necessarily sell books. It's the art. It's the actual products. And a big example of that was Dave Finch on Jimmy Reyes's book. It wasn't like it was, oh my God, the biggest thing that hit crowdfunding at the time. In fact, a lot of people didn't even know about it. So, it's all the normal crowdfunding rules apply in terms of promotion and everything. But it's the art that really sells it. So.
And you don't always know what is going to be a slam dunk either. Like that Rob Willis cover was great, but when Kyle put colors on it, it took it to a level that made people go crazy.
That's exactly right.
And you don't know, like you could pay more for a higher renowned artist, and he might not do the same sort of thing. He might not hit those heights. You don't know every time what you're going to get.
You're saying it's like a box of chocolates.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
it's a bit of a different arena with crowdfunding stuff. I think what we all realize is just how important marketing and promoting is, because you got a David Finch cover, but if nobody knows about it, if nobody knows that David Finch has done a cover for you, that means nothing.
And
it's not going to bring in any more sales than
sorry, go on.
Yeah. Than if someone else did a cover for you.
I was just going to say, there's lots of people out there who they're actually not mainstream comic fans. They've come into the Phantom Menace or something like that. So they don't even know who a lot of these so-called big names are. Which is why I say they really do respond to the art more than anything. Obviously, a lot of the big names are going to be bringing the hot art. That's just kind of goes hand in hand. But you're exactly right, Clayton. You got to let the people know, hey, this is a serious talent, and look what he's delivered. And Rob's point is right as well. They've got to actually deliver the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. You're only famous to the people who know about you, and if there's people who are brand new coming into Comicsgate, coming into crowdfunding comic books, which there are, because we're putting them out there in front of people that usually wouldn't expect to come across comic books. They're not just confined to comic book stores anymore, right? They're not just confined to the people who go into comic book stores. We're talking about the internet here. And especially when you combine that with what we were talking about Adam with the other day, Facebook advertising, social media advertising. Well, now all of a sudden you're getting your book in front of horror fans who watch horror movies, but are seeing your horror comic book and are like, hey, you know what? I'm going to check this out just because it looks cool. So I think what probably matters more is less the artist's name and more what the artist is producing. Are they producing something that's going to capture people's attention? Because they could be a no-name artist and be amazingly talented and pull in a huge amount of attention if they're put in front of the right people.
When it comes to variants, I think a big difference between independent elite or our Comicsgate independent whatever in the mainstream is like we don't have a collector's market for these variants. You know what I mean? There's no like everybody hunting down every variant for every book for Comicsgate. So if it's good, people will buy it. If it's not, people are going to buy something else. Like there's just like nobody's just hunting every issue and is going to collect it.
Yeah, I agree.
This is all the same guy,
Yeah,
Rob.
yeah.
It's amazing stuff.
So this is the best guy.
Reminds me.
The best guy ever, Bancroft, right here. The best artist ever.
Look, he's pretty damn good. I wouldn't say anything negative about any of this stuff. It's all pretty amazing. It is all quote unquote cover art stuff. I have seen art of this quality inside books in some European books where they spend 2 to 3 years making a single book. But yeah, it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it's tough as well because it's a certain style, right? Like I honestly still prefer Mark Silvestri's stuff over this.
Yeah.
Because it's more stylistic and there's a little bit more energy to it.
Yeah,
but
it's all very static, isn't it?
Yeah,
This
is very neat and very tidy and very clean, which he's done very well. But it's not Mark Silvestri. You know, it's so strange how we react to art sometimes and why we enjoy it, why we engage with it for whatever reasons we decide on. Sometimes we don't know.
I can't imagine how long this takes him.
You'd imagine a while. But that's why he's a cover. And I said this plenty of times. I think we have some guys in Comicsgate who should just be being cover artists, who shouldn't be essentially, I think, wasting their time. Well, yeah, it's wasting their time because they spend so much time per page that their hourly rate would drop down to subsistence levels. Like way under minimum wage because they're spending months on a single page.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to speed up. Trust me, I know that. I've learned that lesson.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's great, man. I mean, so what are you going to do, Rob? Are you going to hire this guy or?
Oh, mate, I'll inquire. I'll ask
like he's
him.
pretty busy.
But I don't think he'll be available. I mean, and if he is, like, what's the cost going to be? It'll be at least $1,000.
Pay it out, man. If it's like $3,000, do it. Just do it, man.
People are getting Dave Dorman covers, so why not? Jay Lee. I don't know. It depends on how much you think you're going to make from it, I suppose.
Yeah, like this is fine art level, man.
Yeah,
this is crazy. Like this isn't just comic book art.
I've got a book, an Italian. I know it's like French Italian book that the interiors are almost like that the whole way through. And
wow,
it's absolutely nuts.
What's the artist's name?
It's somewhere around here. I can't see it. But yeah, that I mean, I think that book took years to make.
Yeah.
Man. But it's probably been immortalized, right?
How so?
Well, because once it's done, it's done forever. Like it might take, let's say, 5 years, half a decade to create, but it will last hundreds of years after that. Hopefully, if it's amazing, it'll stand the test of time. A lot of books are forgotten about, and they're done very, very quickly, but they're forgotten just as fast. So, yeah, I think that it's definitely worth putting the time into a product that's going to be there and done. I mean, David Finch has said this before. One of the worst things is, as an artist, is to miss a mistake and have it printed, again, essentially immortalized in print, and have to look at that forever afterwards. And you could have fixed it, right? That's why Witchblade is still being printed till this day, and why a lot of other books aren't. How many books in the modern day? I guarantee you they're not going to be relaunching the latest versions of Witchblade, because Michael Turner's stuff was the greatest.
Yeah, I thought Silvestri was the greatest. Make up your mind, Clayton.
Well, they're both great, aren't they?
Three the greatest. So you got Finch, Silvestri, Turner.
Yeah.
None of the three which are the greatest. None of the
There's many greats from that era. It was a great era of lots of talented people.
Darren says, anyone else see Clayton pause when the octopus was on screen?
I did.
Look here what he's doing with the hand, the foreshortening. This is probably what I was attempting with the ginger root hand. See how he's got the meat of the palm right up close to the. This is why you have to work on your form.
It's a good hand
and lighting. It's a fantastic hand. See, this is what I. Yeah.
Does he have sequentials?
No, I don't think this is a sequential artist. But like Clayton said, I don't know if there's enough energy, if there's enough movement in the art, unless it was a story like we saw Sandman there, where there's not actually any action. It's just things happening and people standing around, which is fine if it's that kind of story. But like say a Spider-Man, for example, even this Spider-Man, he looks like a statue that's being carved.
Very stiff.
Not actually a something that's happening. So
that's a good comparison, man. A statue. Yeah. It doesn't have that flow of energy through it. In fact, you could say the same thing about all of the pieces that we see here, is they look like they've been what's the word? They've been turned to stone.
Yeah, frozen in time.
Petrified.
Not very dynamic.
Well, no, the compositions are dynamic. It's that there's no movement, so you're trying to portray movement in sequentials, and there's all sorts of little.
Be what makes him a great cover artist in the end.
There's a lot of great cover artists, like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's one of them.
It's quite hard finding a really good sequential artist in comparison to finding a cover
artist. I kind of learned that yesterday when you did your stream yesterday, and you were going rifling through all those artists on the HTDC's Facebook page or whatever. But everybody puts out this kind of stuff, but nobody's putting down pages of sequential art.
Rob's like a heroin junkie trying to get that original high that he got when he found Aaron, and just realizing what a rare occurrence that was.
Walktaro Garb, bitches.
See that one that you just showed, Rob. Go back to
the World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
See, to me, like the rendering is stunning because you can see the amount of time that was put in, but it doesn't elicit much of a reaction from me, to be honest, because it does look kind of flat in a weird way, especially the armor. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you had again, Silvestri or Todd McFarlane draw that up, and you had their inker. I don't know who, maybe Weems go over the top of that. Dude, it would actually be more impactful because of the line. And it's funny because this guy, you can see that he uses line weights and that there's this flow to the hatching that he places down, but it's all in the underlying fundamental pose of the character.
Yeah, Dan Frager gets into that, and it's pretty mind-blowing how much knowledge is crammed into one head in terms of how to make dynamic poses that look like they're in movement and all that sort of stuff. It is really informative when he gets into that stuff.
So, question, Rob, like Clayton's like get a cover from him, like, but when you're selling a book within Comicsgate specifically, like, wouldn't you rather have like one of like, wouldn't Shane Davis or Rob Willis or Dan Fraga, wouldn't that be a safer bet? Like, regardless of how good this guy is.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but again, like it kind of comes down to me, like, I really like it. I would like to have it. I would like to have it on my book. So it'd be more for me than the fans, I think.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys, or not a lot. There's a couple of guys who've gotten Simon Bisley covers who just love Simon Bisley so much.
Phil Diaz.
And yeah, Phil's one of them. Chimera had one as well. Look, it's not a selling point for me. I was never into Simon Bisley, but they love it, and it's appropriate for their story. So as long as the art lines up to the kind of book that you're trying to sell, that's to me what a cover should be. A cover should sell the book and let the reader know what kind of story is on the inside. So as long as those sort of match up, I think you're going to be fine, regardless of who they are or what they've done.
Yeah, for sure. And it's good to hire people within Comicsgate for sure, but I wouldn't do it just be.
I wasn't arguing for that. Yeah. I was just curious in the business practicality standpoint. I'm not arguing one way or the other.
And what about
if you're trying to sell books
would make sense?
If you're trying to sell books, within to Comicsgate, wouldn't it make more sense to hire one of those artists? Now, if you're just doing it,
care about that.
Do they?
I don't know if they do. I think that they just care if it's a cool looking cover.
It'd be a good question for Rob and Mike.
I kind of think there's like a few things that go into it. Obviously, like there's going to be the name. It does make a difference. It's going to be, is that person actually going to promote it? Because if they don't, then that's a huge deal. And then, of course, like how good the actual art piece is. I think there are three things that go into it. So you might have an Ethan Van Sciver cover, for example. Huge name. But if he doesn't promote it, it's not going to do as well as if he promotes it, obviously, right? And the art's going to be fantastic. I know what my point is.
Yeah. And I think that's something to take into account when hiring artists as well. Are they going to promote the cover that you've done for them, that they've done for you, rather? And is that worth the price? If they're asking for a higher price, is that actually something that should be taken into account as well? Because I definitely think it is. Like, I love sharing the covers that I do for people, and I know that if I share it, on the How to Draw Comics Facebook page or on my social medias and stuff, that it'll get them additional attention, especially if I throw the link in there as well. And I'm a small fry, so if you are hiring out somebody like, let's say Simon Bisley, for example, who I would assume would have a massive following, and I don't know, man. People pay alone for just promotion.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe you could put a sweetener onto the fee. So he says, "Okay, I'll do a cover for you for $1,000." Will you say, "Hey, mate, I'll give you $1,300 if you do the cover and then promote it"? So say
Hell
for
yeah.
someone like someone that we know has a huge active following, Trent Kanuga, who, assuming time allowing, he would be more than happy doing covers for any of us.
Hmm.
And then you say, "Hey, look, if you do this cover and I put in this little sweetener, will you talk about it occasionally, or like bring it up on your channel or something like that?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
I
smart,
think it's
man.
worth
I think
doing,
that's smart.
or at least worth asking.
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
like you probably when you're buying a cover from someone, and if they're popular, you kind of expecting that they will promote it, but they don't have to. Like they don't owe you. That you're buying the art from them. That's all you're
Mhm.
buying.
Yeah.
I
You
don't,
So
can't expect it. I don't
don't
no,
think.
know. I haven't put my finger on why some covers sell and some don't. Honestly, I mean, you had like 2 cases with your cover, Rob, and Eric Weathers' Scarecrow cover, where it's just like hotcakes and explosions, and then Patrick Thomas Parnell gets a Michael Golden cover, and then people are like, meh, who knows why?
Well, it's art is subjective,
Mm.
and sometimes you hit gold and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, dude. That's why it matters what it looks like.
Yeah.
I have become really like I think we've all created this association with EVS's art, John Malin's art, Shane's art, like you were saying, Leroy, and it is recognizable to us now, like us within this particular community. We recognize it almost immediately. So I do see that there's value there, but I don't think that means that if you see an artist like this dude here and you're Rob and you're like, man, I'm just like, I need this guy on the front of my book, that he shouldn't go for it.
How much is a normal cover? Like you're saying 1,000. Is that pretty expensive?
It's on the high end, I'd say. It's really like how long is a piece of string kind of thing, Leroy. But like you can anywhere from like 100 to 500 would be probably normal. Anything over that is starting to get pretty high. For like crowdfunding numbers.
Did Ethan say that he paid $10,000 for those Jay Lee covers?
Whoa, really?
Some insane amount like that.
Yeah, but Ethan does that. He pays stupid money to like Kanan and people like that too. Like that's what he does. Like he's trying to talk Finch into doing a Cyberfrog cover. He's probably going to pay him a ridiculous amount because that's what Ethan does, man.
I think he even got whatever it was, he got a price off Sean Gordon Murphy too, I think, and he said like he nearly had a heart attack. So that ain't happening.
Yeah.
Ethan nearly had a heart attack.
No, not Sean Gordon Murphy. J. Scott Campbell. What are all these people with 3 names? I get them confused.
Dude, I wonder how much J. Scott Campbell is.
Well, I was thinking like 30 or something like that.
30K.
Yeah, if you're if you're independent or whatever,
crazy.
Like he might have contracts, but I mean, why not?
I remember Ethan saying he'd pay like up to 25 for a McFarlane cover.
Every cover that a guy like that does, J. Scott Campbell or Todd McFarlane, you're almost guaranteed to have an iconic cover that's going to be shown and talked about for potentially a decade to come. So
yeah, that's crazy, man. That's a lot of money. But I think when you're a guy like Ethan and you've got money to throw around, hell yeah, why not? I would.
Can't take it with you.
This is going to trigger Clayton. Scott Campbell is so boring for a cover. He literally draws the same girl in the same pose every cover.
That's a bit of an over-exaggeration. But I think, again, man, he draws great covers. They might all look the same, but they're all great too.
They're covers that you want to pick up and look at more. So that I haven't seen a bad cover. So
Yeah.
I
Could you
borrow
imagine getting a
ideas.
McFarlane cover?
I borrow ideas. Says you'll get your money's worth with a Malin cover. Dude will not only do it but also promote it. That is true. I'd say
That's a
he's
big thing to think about.
he's the exception. I would say not the exception because people do it, but he's in the uncommon kind of artists who do that really strong promotion for stuff.
So who is the
I'll
best
probably
artist?
do a demo video for you too, as Rob knows.
Who's the best artist you've ever seen, Rob? What's the title of this stream all about?
Oh, I think it's this guy. I don't know.
Whoa!
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't make those kind of. I mean, the short list would be in the hundreds. So
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
I
couldn't
don't
do
know.
that.
Something about this guy's work just speaks to me. The different depths of pencil work, the way he makes the light reflect off skin, and I think it's exceptional.
I think Rob has a new artist that has his muse every week. He gets a new muse.
Yeah.
Darren says, "Yeah, quote this guy." Didn't even say his name. It's just this guy,
Andy Braze.
some dude.
Yeah. Like I like this stuff. The previous one I'm not a big fan of.
That.
Yeah, like I don't like the way that he renders bodies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm seeing that now I'm seeing the tone there, but I'm not seeing the form of the muscles. Like I'm seeing a shape of tone that's surrounding the muscles, but I'm not seeing the form. Like I don't feel like they got that depth. Anyway, look at me critiquing an amazing artist like this.
All right. I said I'd keep Clayton for half an hour. It's been 40 minutes. So you can leave, Clayton. Thank you for coming on. And
No worries.
Get the hell out of here, Clayton.
Thanks for having me, guys. Michael, good to talk to you.
Always.
Good to talk to you, Leroy. And I'll see you later, chat. Bye-bye.
Take it
Thanks
easy.
for having me, Rob.
thanks, mate. We'll probably wrap it up in a couple of minutes anyway. But yeah, I mean, Bancroft, would you pay big money for a cover?
Not right now, but in principle, yes, absolutely. It's just a business investment. Purely an investment. If I thought I would make the money back and more because of that cover, yeah, absolutely, I would.
What if you knew you wouldn't make the money back? Would you not do it?
I would have to really have my socks knocked off to do that. It would have to be someone just like I haven't come across it yet. There's a guy we were talking about it on Leroy's Hangout stream when we were doing our fantasy, best teams. I might have to actually ditch Shane Davis for a non-CG guy who draws for DC called Jorge Jimenez.
Yeah, he's good.
Just purely because, and because we were talking CG guys, so I wasn't really thinking about non-CG guys. I think his style would be perfect for the Lucent. So yeah, that's that. Like he's one of the one, maybe not one. There's like 2 or 3 mainstream artists that I still follow on Twitter, and it just popped up in my feed the other day, and I was like, yes, this guy, and he's just getting better and better. So, a cover from him, I might not be able to recoup those costs because I would expect it to be very high, considering he's like probably a contracted artist. And yeah, maybe I don't know, it depends how my life is going at that time. I got bills to pay, I got a family to feed.
Looks like this is a cover.
This is DC work. See it, yeah. Obviously you can tell it's Superman. Batman, Joker. I think this is the Assassin's Creed guy, yeah?
Who knows? Could be a multitude of things.
Doctor Strange.
I would like to see someone draw the Joker a bit different.
Mm,
Everyone kind of draws him in the same way, which is strange because it's a face. It's not a mask or anything. But they all draw him in that really elongated way. I don't know. Maybe I'm committing blasphemy here. I don't know.
I mean, there's been different takes on the Jokers throughout but there's always like purple, like it's like, what do you want? Like a different suit, or
I was thinking of just the way his face looks. Like Superman's face changes with every artist. It's a guy with all the requirements are is a strong jawline and black hair, really. Like that, I presume that's Doctor Strange. He doesn't. I don't recognize the face. Whereas, it is Doctor Strange. You can tell. He's got the mustache but everyone draws Joker with that really long, pointy chin and the high cheekbones, sort of like looking like Benedict Cumberbatch.
You mean the Benedict Cumberbatch looks like the Joker, probably more accurately.
I don't know.
Which came first?
Hockey's saying I'm not smiling. I mean, I am on a Rob stream. He's been going at me so hard lately.
I can't deny it.
I see like Rob watching your streams, Bancroft, and he's like telling his wife he insulted you, and then she goes over there and pats him on the top of his head. Now that's a good little boy.
Rick Saylor's in the house. Good to see you again, mate.
I will say this: that picture of the orc was anything better. Did you ever see that the Wildstorm World of Warcraft book?
No.
Yeah, they did one, and this is better than that.
George, what do you think of the artist? George is in chat. He's an art connoisseur. What do you think of this artist, George? I can just see George saying, yeah, I don't like him.
I can see George saying he's all right.
Yeah. So, like, if I got this guy to do a cover, for example, I don't think I would make up the money that it costs to hire him.
Can you find somebody to color it to do it justice, in your opinion, in your eyes? Because then you might be in for another 500.
I think Kyle would be getting another deposit in his PayPal.
I don't know if Kyle would work for this. I don't know.
It would be interesting because Kyle loves art as well. He like, if he sees a piece that he thinks, damn, I want to color that, he'll reach out to someone and say, I want to color it. So, I mean, he might want to try something like this. It's not outside of the realms of possibility. But yeah, I mean, like, he's got some color work in here, which I think looks pretty damn good. Very different, though.
It's very European.
He's good, but there's nothing that you've shown me that's like, I would just buy that book, period. Like, you show me nothing that makes me say that. Like this,
you see this on a book, you and go, hell yeah. I mean,
no, and I'm not saying it's bad because I actually like this guy. I like his art, but there's nothing. If you're going to spend whatever ridiculous amounts on a cover, there's nothing to me that's saying I'm going to buy this book. Period. Like, replicate like your last Willis Ritter cover. Like, people probably bought that book without even looking at the sequentials inside.
Yep.
Here's the thing about art like this on a cover. And again, I keep going back to the Europeans, but they do this all the time. They get these, like, take a piece like this. This is not what I would consider comic book art. There are comic book illustration sort of techniques in play here, but this is sort of a blend between high illustration and kind of a bit of comic book coloring or whatever. It's a weird blend. Anyway, the point is this is not what the interiors are going to look like.
No, I
so-
get that. I get that.
Yeah, but what ends up happening is, okay, you buy this, you back this book because you love the cover, but then you spend 10 seconds looking at the cover, appreciate it, and then you're into the story, and it can be quite jarring from the cover to the interiors. And I'm not saying that the cover artist has to be the interior artist, but you see that Rob Willis and Kyle Ritter piece, it's definitively comic book style. It's a comic book. It's comic book art on the cover, and you're getting comic book art on the interiors. What I'm saying is, I don't know if it would really entice me to buy it unless I was thinking, it's in my head, I'm going to display that on my wall.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just the kind of thinking that I get. Like I actually have. I'm putting up, hardcovers because they're easy to display because they do have amazing covers.
George is finally coming in with his opinions there, Rob.
Oh, no, I've been highlighting. Oh, Badger is throwing some shade in the chat. Badger, naughty boy.
K Manifesto says, to me in comics, the drapes have to match the rug. Well, to a degree, at least be in the same universe sort of thing. Although I don't mind on like hardcover collections if you have a special sort of painted cover or something like that.
I prefer no rug at all.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I think you've made valid points, Michael. Someone tries to call me, a rare occurrence. I really like his work. I think if I got something really done, it would be more for me than it would for, for actual sales. Because I don't.
Yeah, and Rob, we didn't get into this because we thought, hey, I know a really easy way to make a lot of money. We'll make comic books. We got into this because we've got that passion existing, and then we're trying to find ways that we can make money and get rich. But that's a long, winding road. So we know we're into this because we love art and comics and all that sort of stuff. I saw that too, Black Rose. Total boomer ringtone there.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. Might as well have been like an 8-bit Mario song. But there is something, Rob, to what you're saying. You do it because you love it, because then it's going to be easier for you to sell because you're into it, instead of just something ho-hum that you've had 40 times before.
Yeah, I mean, I say this all the time, man. Like, I don't want to do comic books unless I can get the best art I can get. If the art's going to be crap, there's no point me doing it. I'm not interested in doing it that way. George says, even I knew that was a boomer ringtone.
Pretty bad. That's
Jeez.
really, really bad.
Is that the highlight of the stream? My phone ringing? Jeez, it's a slippery slope. Yeah, so I don't know what the consensus was. I don't think anyone feels that he's the best artist in the world.
He is your best artist till next week when you find a new muse. So
that's correct. That's correct. What about you, Bancroft? Got anything else about this?
I am wondering how this style would actually translate with your mutants versus machines thing. This seems very fantasy orientated. So I just don't know. Like, I think this guy would actually kick ass on a Kozor cover.
Yeah, he would.
As opposed to a Replicator cover. And I wouldn't even really think about this for a cover for the Lucent, unless I was doing a print for one of the scenes where it's set way back in the past and it's got sort of still got that ancient sort of element to it.
I don't know,
Although he
man.
did do the Predator, and that Predator looked pretty cool.
I could see him doing like a ghost, you know, with like ultra detail. I think that could look crazy.
Yeah, but when you do these cross hatching and everything, I don't know. He's
I agree with
obviously
you.
a fantastic artist, so he probably could like figure it out. But I would think, you know, if he were to do machinery, it would I would think more like steampunk would be more his thing. Like actually one of the best artists out there that are well known is and I'm just now totally gonna blank on his name. Damn it. Oh no, forget it because I won't be able to remember his name now. Anyway, there's a guy who's just phenomenal. He does all styles. I mean, he does really scratchy, fun, crazy styles. He does intensely detailed things. And when he's on steampunk, when he does a steampunk piece, it's like you've never seen anything like it. And that's sort of what I'm thinking about with this guy. I've never seen anyone draw a dragon quite like that.
It looks sick.
Reminds me of a book I read actually, where there's like these stone dragons. It kind of like puts me in mind of that book. They call them the Elderlings. It's pretty cool. I like this.
Yeah, do you know there's books that people make? They're kind of like a cross between a graphic novel and a novel or a short story, where you get like maybe you get a full page of art or maybe a half page of art on the other page, and then it's text.
Have you heard of Twilight
Do
Monk
something
before?
like that.
Wow.
No.
Twilight Monk by Trent Kanuga. He does that.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. And Trent Kanuga will be fantastic with it. The concept artist guys, man. I could just stare at that stuff for hours.
Carry the Weight says, Wiki says that Andy Brace was on Hall of Heroes at the same time with EVS and Matt Martin. Released a
So
book
maybe
called
there is a connection there.
Durax.
Maybe we can ask Ethan about Andy Brace and get the DL. He seems to have gone in a different direction.
Well, we can do a quick Google real quick while you guys are talking and find
How
out.
did Matt go yesterday with Snowman? What was
watched
the final? Yeah, but what was the? I dipped out at some point. What was the
I think
final?
he made like 20K. I think it was like 50 in the 55, around 55, and it closed at almost 75.
Imagine if he'd like tried to do a little spite or something and defeat the evil. Like that's something that Matt Martin clearly would not be into, probably.
Is Matt Martin really into anything?
It's difficult to tell. It's very difficult to tell.
How is Kanuga on stream?
Great.
He's
So,
a
I mean,
he's a
that could
natural.
be-
He's a natural. He's a
That could be
total
really
pro.
interesting then.
Why?
Well, Kanuga and Ethan, Kanuga's book.
Oh, it looks like Rob had to sneeze. I don't know. I think there's a good dynamic between Ethan and Trent on stream. Bancroft, what do you think?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I hope he wasn't scared off by because Ethan was going hard on
Yeah, I
all
think-
this old
I think I
comic
told
artist pro secret lore.
right. I think I told you yesterday. It's like he got the red carpet. He got the Ted Bundy talk. The Flint Flossie. He got it all in the first stream. Like
Yeah.
trial by fire.
Well, he's probably used to it though. Like, if they're friends from back in the day, he probably knows what Ethan's like to some extent.
I don't think Ethan's like that. I mean, I don't get the feeling, and I've only met Ethan like once, but I really don't have the feeling he's like that off stream. I think he puts on a
said that.
personality.
He said that he doesn't walk around his house going like, oh no. He's just, and when you listen to him when he's drawing, I think that's more like normal everyday Ethan Van Sciver. So that's probably what they know about. But I have been told, and yeah, you would be able to maybe confirm or deny this, Leroy, that when he is at a convention and he's kind of putting on a show for a lot of people, that he that's sort of where that personality comes out. But there's no way Trent, unless he is watching the show, would know about all this sort of stuff that they were getting into.
Yeah, the Ted Bundy warship was like, like I was watching Trent's face during that. He's like, "What in the hell?"
About Ted Bundy, the serial killer.
Right?
It's like, yeah, good guy.
But I mean, you know what we were saying last night? It's like that. It sells books somehow. You know, those kind of streams, when Ethan's in that form, like it sells friggin' books. You know,
yeah.
like,
I called him a mad genius, a mad marketing genius. It's. I mean, you know, who can understand it? It just. It works.
I don't know. If Rob was sitting there talking about Ted Bundy, I'd be like changing the subject or something.
We'd be scared. Darren tells you to shut up, Lanecroft. Yeah, the Bancroft bump is not quite in the 20K zone yet. That's
It's not quite. Well, I think maybe you have had a 2K bump once before.
It has to be with assistance with the actual genuine closeout. That's when you get the real magic happening.
But your stream's going well, Michael. It seems to be kicking up another gear, which is cool.
As long as we can keep thinking up tighter subjects. Do you guys have any subjects you want to talk about? Well, I'm having Red Gaze on tonight, so
you could do digital, man. You could talk about digital.
He's been on me to do that on my show too. Might as well just talk about it because he's going to keep asking.
Digital.
Yeah. Should we sell digital copies?
I suppose we could talk about that.
Jeez.
I don't know if Red Gaze wants to talk about that though. Does he have any?
He's got a novel coming out, right? Is he the novel writer?
Yeah, I suppose it does fit in. He could do a Kindle. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I in my mind, I keep going back and forth on the whole digital thing because obviously, you know, you want people to buy the actual book, but then you look at campaigns that do digital, and maybe a quarter of those backers are digital, and that's a huge number.
I don't think it.
Yeah, but what's it hurt to offer it though? Like, I don't understand your aversion to offering it.
I think the aversion to offering it is that you want the people to back the actual book, not the digital copy of the book. So if you have the digital there, so that they might go from backing the book down to getting only the digital. I think that's what the problem is. Some people are concerned about piracy. I'm not at all.
No, I'm perfectly fine with. I'm perfectly fine with people who even put up their comics on digital sites and everything like that. I've backed a book called Scurry all the way, and that guy Max Smith, he's got the whole story out there. But if you want the premium edition, he's got a hardcover, slip cover, and everything. It's phenomenal book. So that's that's all fine. I got nothing. It's more about, I think, what Rob said. Like, the concern is, would someone have paid $25 if that was the only option? But if they're coming in and getting a $10 or $15 digital or whatever it is.
It's hard to say too, because different people, I would never buy a digital copy when a physical copy was available. But I don't know if I'm normal.
Yeah, that's what I kind of see the campaign as though. It's for the physical. That's why you're doing a crowdfund. It's for the physical.
This is why it's a good topic, because I don't think anyone has the answer.
Well, why don't you make it a topic on your stream, Rob?
Well, we could, but Bancroft wants the topic today, so there you go.
But I don't think you can do that topic with a Red Gaze. I think Bancroft is right.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's the shipping. That's the thing that kills everyone.
You were talking about a second chance campaign. Why not offer a digital version of the second chance campaign?
Yeah, it's a thought. It definitely is a thought. It's tough though. Like you want to have it so that the people that back you first feel like they're getting the best rewards and value and
37 prints.
37 prints and 4 extra pages. That kind of
No
stuff.
more.
No more. So it's a fine line, and you try and test some stuff out sometimes, and you end up pissing some people off unintentionally. So it's just I don't know. You need to think things out and get people's feedback on it.
Well, why don't? Are you still going to stream, or you want to close it out?
We'll close it out in a minute. Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, if I do a digital tier, it would be not the same price, but it wouldn't be too far off the physical version. So maybe $5 or $10 cheaper, $5 probably. I don't know.
I just don't know where the demand at digital is at. That it's this big of a question for you. I've not seen people hollering for digital. Man, I could be missing it.
And that's the thing. Like in CG, which we're a part of, like the majority of people buy books. That's what they do. They buy the actual physical book. So there might not be a huge demand for it, but you can look at campaigns that have like 400 backers. 100 of those will be digital.
You know, what you can do, Rob. Actually, and I just thought of this. Is nobody from C or half the people aren't going to go over there and do it, but go to Kickstarter just to test it out from a non-Comicsgate audience. Go test it out over there and do a digital only tier.
Yeah, well, I've done it before on Kickstarter. It sells, Leroy. Like there is, like I'm saying, there's probably at least 25% of people will buy a digital copy of the comic. Yeah, I don't know. So it's like George says, I have no interest in digital at all. Neither do I, but some people do. Badger says 3/4 the price yet, potentially. Yep, physical books are much better. That's the thing, man. Like I get like Adam Lawson, for example. He does monthly digital for the Kill Journal and the 8th, and I get those every month, and I haven't read them, and I won't read them. I'll read them when I get it in book form. I have zero interest in digital.
No, there's like there's a whole feeling of reading a comic book. Like I tried. What's the Amazon Comixology? I tried that. I probably still have an active subscription over there actually, and I tried to read on a tablet, and it doesn't work for me.
See, like just look at the chat, right? So you have George, no interest in digital. Hey Manifesto says digital seems disposable, but then you have like Oz Great Sage. There are books I would not have backed, but because it was digital, is so cheap, I backed it. And then you've got like Hockey saying I will get digital. There is definitely a market for it. It's just trying to figure out how to do it. I think is the main concern. What about you, Michael? Would you do digital, or you're not?
Not on Indiegogo. Like, if anyone wanted to pay for digital, fine. Look, I would eventually. You could do digital for free. Like the Indiegogo is for the book. To me, this is my opinion. It's your campaign is for the book. Like I said, like way before Comicsgate was a thing, and I was into backing crowdfunded books. I would read comics digitally on, say, Webtoon or Tapastic or whatever, or Comixology or whatever. And then if I saw that they're putting out like a premium version of it, and I loved it, I would back it the thing. I would back the actual book. That's to me how I see it. And I'm like, there's sort of they're kind of different camps evolving about whether or not you should have the $25 tier with all the perks and everything. That's where I'm sitting. That's where I want to go in. I want when you back an Indiegogo campaign, I want all the bells and whistles as much as possible, all that sort of stuff, and I want the high quality, the premium product path. I think that's a good path to go down for crowdfunding. So that's what I'm be doing. I probably, I don't think I'd ever pay for a digital comic book unless there was no other way to get it.
And it would have to be like shit hot on top.
Yeah, I like when I say that, and I literally just paid for a digital comic about 6 months ago because it was in the middle of the, lockdown, and it was the only way I could get it, and I wasn't getting any Comicsgate books because nothing was coming in. So I bought Meta Barons digitally, and I read that. So yeah, that's where I'm standing.
Black Rose says, I come from the manga world. People read digital and buy physical. It happens. Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I'll read manga digitally on my computer. I have no interest in reading comic books the same way. I don't know what it is. Maybe just because I was brought up with physical comic books, and manga I was brought up using the computer. So that's something as well. I have another topic for you, Bancroft, and it might be pretty controversial, and I don't know if if anything can actually be done about it. But shipping from, if you're inside the US to overseas, the price seems out of control.
What's the fix though? I mean,
I don't know what the fix is.
The only fix for that is exactly what K Manifesto has just brought up. Brokers in various countries, like hubs, having a European hub, an Australian hub, a Canadian hub, or whatever it is. And that the only way that would ever happen is if it grows to a point where that becomes financially viable for someone to do.
There's like 10 people in Australia and Comicsgate, and they're all creators. I mean,
that's not true.
Yeah, it's true.
Hang on, I will. Hang on, let me have a look. We can get into the
Let me ask you, because I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't live in America. I don't know how the postal system works. But like here, for example, right? We can ship economy. We have stuff like My Post Business, which if you send a certain amount of parcels, you get a discount. Do you have these options over there, or is it that's just you've got one option and that's what it is?
I don't know if there's any fix, Rob. I know like it's been brought up. This has been brought up before, and many times before, actually.
Yeah, the only fix is growing the audience to a point where it becomes financially viable, and I don't see that happening, at least not for Australia anytime soon. But let me have a look. I'll go into my campaign insights.
Rob, what's bigger today, Bancroft's head or his hair?
It's Mel got really sick of cutting the hair because it's so thick that she kind of left the top, so now I've got this sort of 90s 80s thing happening.
Well, his hair would need to be like 10 times that size to be bigger than his head, which is enormous.
So how many creators do you think? How many Australians in CG?
25.
I've got 56 contributions from Australia.
That's pretty good, man. Let me have a look at mine now. You said that.
That's almost as many as the United Kingdom. But still, it's not enough to... I don't know, maybe it is enough. Would it actually get the shipping done? If you were to send 50 books from the US to Australia in one bulk package, maybe it'll cost you $100 or something. And then it's going to cost you, what, $4 or $5 to send them domestically each. I don't know if there would be a significant saving in the on the shipping. I just don't know. I don't think so at that amount.
I have no interest in doing fulfillment for other people. I don't enjoy doing it for myself. I find it extremely stressful.
I'm not saying I would do it.
It's good
Well,
to
you're
see
not,
Ben
Mel is.
here.
Well, it'll be a team effort.
Oh yeah,
there'll
I'm
be
sure it'll
sketch
be like
cards, head sketches.
why
I
Mel
might-
does the actual fulfillment exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Do you think, like John Malin does this, and I don't know if it's viable for everyone, but he puts shipping at 15 international, and I think that's really low. Like you could maybe even say 20. Do you think that other people should be doing that?
Oh, he's already talked about how he can do that because he has so many U.S. customers that he makes maybe $1 or whatever off the 10. Like he's putting $1 away and it's covering
Mhm.
international. Like that's how he's doing that. So no, I mean you can't take Mainland's. I don't know how many books he pushed out on Graveyard 3, but most people are not doing that.
Yeah, but say he's offering that for us. Yeah, so just say book 2, I want to go to Malin. The majority, yeah. Like, would I have to print in the US and then all the books go straight to him? Because that's the only way it would be able to work.
No, like I don't think there's guys in the U.S. that print in China.
Hmm.
Well, they're not all printing in the
Yeah,
US.
well, then the point is it has to go straight from the printer, wherever it prints. It has to go straight to him.
Right.
So I wouldn't be able to look at it before it goes out.
No, you would only be able to look at the proof copy, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
you
the
could
thing, like you
could
can't
never
put your own personal touch on it if someone else is doing it. You know,
Yeah, no wax seals. Like I don't see Malin in the kitchen with the pots and pans doing the wax seals for you.
No.
So I guess he's out.
sign books.
Yeah, you
I mean-
can do an insert page. So you just sign pieces of paper that the printer sends to you.
Yeah, but who wants to sign the insert page?
No. It's in the book. It gets put into the book during binding.
Oh, yeah, but that's okay. Okay, all right.
So that's something that printers can do. It might be an extra cost. I don't know.
I see Kyle
Yeah.
Ritter is back for like 2 weeks in the social
Yes.
circle. So
He's
enjoy him.
been out. He came out swinging at me. I thought
Yeah.
he would have calmed down.
No.
He's heating up.
That's the thing with Kyle. He'll be here 150%, and then he's gone for like 3 months, and then he comes back and it's the same thing, and then he's gone for like 4 months.
I have a feeling he's going to take a little longer than 3 months. He's got a lot of work about to head his way. A lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think we'll wrap it there. Heaps of people in the chat again, guys. Thank you so much. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to Clayton, Bancroft, and Leroy for popping on, and everyone in chat. You guys were talking lots of stuff, so it's appreciated. Check out Replicator and make sure you catch Michael's show later today. It'll be
Something.
Red
Red Gaze will be there. We know that. Red Gaze will be there. Other than that, God, it's 11 o'clock. I guess I have to probably think of something, don't I?
Just go back and watch my show like you usually do and find
I don't know. Maybe we'll just have a drink and chill out. I don't know. We'll do something.
You could talk about Kanuga.
Get Red Gaze on to talk about Kanuga.
Well, I mean his entry into in the all caps. I don't know. I'm just trying to help you out. Come with a topical, conversation piece.
Thank you, Leroy.
I've got a couple, but I'm saving them. You'll have to steal them next week after I do them already.
I have to wait like a pleb. Everyone thinks I stole the update one from you guys, even though I was actually ahead of you guys. But I wanted to get Phil on because he's a guy that I know updated a lot.
You haven't watched your
And,
stream yet from last night. I feel terrible. I need to go watch that.
All right.
Usually I watch them all.
Trade.
I'm ending it. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks, chat.
See ya.
Bye.